Hey guys, I'm Hannah Cox with Base Politics, back with my show, COPAGANDA. This week, I want to talk about an event that recently happened in Kansas City. On June 1st, at a Kansas City Walmart, Dayton Borisouth attempted to purchase a frozen pizza. He was successful at that, but he wasn't so successful at making it out of the store. Let's roll the clip.
Dayton,
Get the off me! Can you have him read the receipt?
he's not doing nothing wrong, officer. Dayton, stop. Dayton, put your hands behind your back.
Okay, calm down, I will.
Dayton, do it. Just do it, Dayton.
Okay, Dayton.
He didn't do nothing.
My hands are behind my back.
We didn't steal nothing.
I'm not resisting, bro. Read the receipt, bro.
Hey, there's his receipt that he got accused of stealing. Look, she handed him the receipt, so he can't say that they stole it.
Okay, so I found some background on the case, and here's what you need to know. Borisouth told USA Today that his uncle had called him from the Walmart parking lot asking for a hand jump starting his car, which had died. Borisouth, who remodels houses for a living, had just gotten off work and was shirtless due to the hot weather, a detail he believes played a role in the officer's decision to pounce him. While waiting for the car to start back up, Borisouth decided to run inside the store and grab a frozen pizza to take home to his family for dinner. Simple enough. And while I will say that not having on a shirt in public might make you seem lower class or more suspicious, this is Walmart. He went on to say, I thought I'd be out quick, just in and out. That's why I didn't care that my shirt was off. I went inside, got the frozen pizza, called my wife and said, hey, don't cook dinner. I'm purchasing this pizza right now. Borisouth said he paid for the pizza at self-checkout. He goes through that, and he opted not to put it in a bag to avoid waste, because I guess our friend cares about the climate or something. Instead, he put the receipt in his pocket before heading towards the exit, and this is when he says he noticed that there was an officer staring him down on his way out. The officer asked him if he had his receipt. He said yes, and he kept walking. And that's when he got jumped. My first question in watching this is that he is clearly proclaiming he has his receipt. All of the bystanders that are around understand what's happening immediately. They're trying to tell police he has his receipt. And yes, 3 police officers by my count can't put 2 and 2 together, can't pause their assault on this man for 2 seconds to say, maybe can we see it? Actually, before you jump in the first place, why don't you just say, hey, sir, stop, show me your receipt? Or better yet, if you are policing this Walmart, why don't you go stand by the self-checkout line? And if you have any questions when people are leaving, just tell them you need to see their receipt. I don't know. This doesn't seem like rocket science to me. Furthermore, you can hear his uncle and other bystanders telling him to comply. He's clearly not trying to fight back. And yet you see an officer putting his knee on his neck, which is the exact move that has been outlawed in many districts. That's what killed George Floyd. This is an obviously aggressive measure. You are being risky with this person's life because you think they maybe stole a frozen pizza. That's asinine. Borisouth said that he was detained after the video ended and sat in the back of a police car for about an hour until police captain reviewed surveillance footage and confirmed he had paid for the pizza, which you should have been able to confirm the minute somebody handed you the receipt as you were cuffing him and frog marching him out of the store. Borisouth also said that while he was released on the scene, he was told he was being issued a ticket for not following remand. For not following what remand? They asked if he had a receipt. He said yes. Then he got jumped. Then the cop threatened to break his nose. He got cuffed. He had a knee on his neck and he got taken out. At what point in any of that did he have any option to do anything other than what he did? A Facebook post later made by the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department identified the first policeman who made contact with Borisouth as an off-duty officer working security for the Walmart store. The post says the level charge for hindering an investigation was dropped, and then an internal investigation, because they spent your tax dollars to investigate this, concluded that one of the responding officers employed techniques that are not approved nor trained by the department. While the post says 2 of the officers involved would be disciplined and subject to further training, details about the officers' identities and said discipline and training were not released. I'm pretty sure they were hoping to be dropped from there, said Borisouth, who is in contact with a lawyer. But this is something I just can't let slide, because if I do, who knows if another person will get injured worse or even killed, which is a great point he makes. Unfortunately for him and anybody else who gets treated like this, hiring a lawyer is not going to get you very far, and that's thanks to several corrupt policies on the book, namely qualified immunity that prevents police officers and actually the vast majority of anybody who works for the government from being held accountable and liable for damages when they violate people's rights or their person or their property. It's also very unlikely anything will happen to these police officers internally because of police unions. These unions take your tax dollars and use them to lobby against you, which is one of many reasons I am against all taxpayer-funded lobbying. I think that practice should be banned. I think that public sector unions should not be allowed whatsoever. Private sector unions are fine, but when you have somebody working on behalf of the taxpayers, you're working on our dollar, you should not be able to take those dollars and then use them to lobby and work against our rights. Unions should not be able to use tax dollars to protect corrupt government actors from accountability. That means the taxpayers basically have no ability to get these people fired when they do act rogue. Another interesting component here is that Walmart has apparently become very aggressive at policing shoplifting. I found numerous instances in my research where people have been arrested on spot because they thought they scanned something in their self-checkout line and apparently it didn't actually scan. And instead of just saying, hey, I think you missed something, or hey, you might need to go back through the line, they instead get arrested, prosecuted, taken to court. This is really over the top. Now, I've thought it was crazy for a while now that several franchises, and especially in places like Chicago or San Francisco and Oakland, where there are high rates of crime, are essentially no longer policing their stores. They're basically telling their employees not to engage with shoplifters, just to let people take their property and go. They are no longer employing police officers or security around their stores. And I thought that was crazy. But after watching this video, I think I kind of get it, because honestly, the liability stores face when they have off-duty officers who might act like this on the premises, and also just the loss of reputation when you see that this is going down in a store, is enough to scare off most people from their businesses. So I do understand why some businesses are making the calculation that perhaps it's worth more to them to keep their reputation, not have customers get jumped over misunderstandings in their stores, and take the loss when there are shoplifters. Either way, this cop and his buddies that joined him were all clearly out of line, and I just don't think it's acceptable we have police officers who aren't able to use common sense, gather evidence when they do think there might be a crime, calmly see what's going on and evaluate before they tackle people and start using very aggressive measures that could actually get somebody killed. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this week. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and let me know what you thought of this video. And until next week, stay based.